Thank you very much.
Thanks.
So that is the world we live in. It's a rivalry between the United States and China, flat out. There's no denying that. And yet for years, against that backdrop, Joe Biden has downplayed the threat that China poses to the United States. Only in the last few months, as he tries to become president, has Biden at least pretended to care about China.
China is going to eat our lunch? Come on, man. They're not bad folks, but guess what? They're not competition for us. While Trump is tweeting, China is making massive investments in new technologies, in artificial intelligence. You bet I'm worried about China. When it comes to taking on China first, let's invest in America.
Does anyone really believe that, though? China recently walked out of trade negotiations with the president. One possible reason, they're expecting a better deal from the next guy, maybe President Biden. Gordon Chang is the author of The Coming Collapse of China, and he joins us tonight. So, Gordon, if you're China, you're looking at a pretty clear choice. Here you have, for whatever his flaws, Donald Trump is the only president in recent American history who's challenged China, who's called China out on a bunch of different issues. And then you've got everybody else. So aren't you rooting for everybody else?
Well, they certainly are, Tucker. You'd have to go back to Eisenhower to find an American president who had as robust a policy as President Trump does. And, you know, the Chinese look at Trump and they don't like him for two reasons. First of all is because he's hammering them day in, day out.
Right.
Also because he's unpredictable. They can't figure out what he's going to do next. They like the sort of the establishment view in the U.S. where we try to engage the Chinese. They can figure out what we're trying to do. Trump says, I'm not doing that.
So why wouldn't they, being the Chinese, and of course looking after their own interests is the first concern, only concern, and being unscrupulous, why wouldn't they work to defeat him in this coming election?
Well, I think they are. You know, they've looked at the impeachment inquiry right now, and they have coming in, because they're going to come into Washington on Thursday for the 13th round of talks.
Yes.
They have signaled in the last couple of days they're just not going to talk about the core issues that U.S. negotiators demand that we discuss. So
Yes.
I think it's because they look at Trump and they say, well, he might not be here. We saw a really good glimpse of this in March, Tucker, when the special counsel Robert Mueller hinted that there was going to be no charges of collusion, that there was nothing there. Well, the Chinese in their trade talks with us immediately became conciliatory because then they said, oh, President Trump might actually be here after 2020. So they're looking very closely at what's going on in the U.S., and this impeachment inquiry is affecting, I think, their negotiating position, making them much tougher than they ordinarily would be.
It's fascinating, but not surprising if you think about it. Gordon Chang, thank you so much for that.
Thank you, Tucker.